What is going on? This is Shango Ray, aka Real Deal Ray. So today's brief video, I got a question in my email from a person asking if they can get. This particular person wanted a certain amount of sex partners. So I thought this was a good question. Before I go on, the special to get your custom spirit servant will be ending on early morning hours of Tuesday. Okay, so the prices will be going up. So if you ever wanted your own custom spirit servant, now is the time to figure out what you want, where you want assistance with your custom spirit servant, and get your ass over here and claim it. So, excuse me. The answer to this question obviously is yes. I do have some tips for you, so you're going to want to stick around here as far as but these tips actually can be related to any time and for anything that you want a custom spirit servant, but I'm going to keep it to this particular subject since that's what was asked of me a few days ago, and I'm just getting now to making a video about this. But the answer is absolutely yes. For maximum efficiency, I have two suggestions. Assuming that you have some form of, experience, obviously with romantic partners and lovers, because there are people that don't really have too much experience. The reason I say that is because through experience is where you figure out what it is that you want. Every time you have an experience, whether you know it or not, a contrast is created between what I don't want, now I know I don't want this, and now I know I want this. I say that because I believe it's very important, because everyone who gets their own custom spirit servant will have the opportunity to inject their own programming, their own instructions, and totally make it theirs. My suggestion is you set up some type of discernment for your spirit servant. Now, what do I mean by this? In my experience with using spirit servants to, acquire lovers or just sex partners, I found it to be very, 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 very important to instill a type of discernment mechanism. Okay? Because, well, from a man's perspective, all pussy ain't good pussy. Okay? So I'm going to give you some examples. For one, I'm pretty sure you want your to-be or to-come lovers and sexual partners to be healthy, mentally, and of course physically. You don't want, you may not catch AIDS, but you also don't want herpes, or you don't want something that's going to be sticking around with you way after your time with this person has expired. I say healthy too because, I know some men and women, they like the crazy shit. It's kind of an ego boost that somebody's losing their mind for you, or, busting your car windows and shit. If, me personally, I have absolutely no time for none of that. I guess it also may depend on just where you are in life as a person. Some people really like that drama. But my strong suggestion is you figure out your deal breakers. You know what I'm saying? And if it's about sexual partners, then you can maybe be a little lax about a lot of other things, because you're not going to be in no full-blown committed relationship. It's just about sexual partners, So make sure you understand yourself and what you mean by what you say when you say you want, certain kinds of sexual partners. And the other point is it's going to be important when you receive your custom spirit servant after you officially launch, deploy, or birth your custom spirit servant. That's where the relationship begins. And when you're dealing with spirit servants, it's important to start to kind of pay attention when your spirit servant talks to you, the way it talks to you. You may not hear an audible or a sub-audio voice in your mind. You may just get a feeling. You may see certain things that just for some reason catch your attention as it relates to your particular purpose. Your particular custom spirit servant is going to talk to you in its own way. It may have several ways, but the point is you want to be able to pay attention. You want to be able to recognize that. As it relates to romantic partners or sexual partners, I'm going to give you just another brief example and then we'll cut it loose. But one thing is, I wouldn't expect, and even when I first made my first spirit servant for something like this, I didn't expect women to just throw themselves at me or come at me. Now that did happen. And other times it was like my particular spirit servant, whenever I entered an establishment or whenever I was somewhere, if there was some woman there who fits my bill, who would be sexually, attracted to me, there was kind of like this alarm. And the best way that I can explain it is my attention would immediately be pulled to somebody. Even if this woman was like just trying to check me out on the low. Because, some women are blatantly obvious when they're checking you out, and some women, the average men wouldn't even think that they're checking them out. You know what I'm saying? Because women can be very, they can be very secret. They're pretty good with that shit. Or they could be checking you out from the side of their eye and you don't even know. You don't even think they're looking at you, but their peripheral vision be like on blast and shit. That's happened plenty of times. So when you get that alarm, it's still your responsibility, to use that information. Maybe you go up and just start a conversation. Maybe you, or whatever the case may be. So I do think it's important to do that. Like, don't assume that your spirit servant is just going to do all the work 1,000,000,000% for you. There's always still the part of these interactions, that require action on our part. It's just like even if you had a spirit servant for money, your spirit servant may guide you to something that ends up saving you money, or somehow something happens where you end up getting money saved. That's money now that you have that you didn't have to spend or circulate. So that's getting you money. That was your spirit servant. You may have this it feels kind of foreign, but you may have this idea to do something. It behooves you to move on that, especially as your spirit is growing in power and density, So these are just some tips I wanted to drop on you. Much love to each and every one of you. I appreciate y'all. Stop by shango-ray.com. Pick up your custom spirit servant now. And we'll be at you with another video. Peace.